2nd Avenue, and this time we have backed it up prior to the explosion because it does catch the explosion, but you can hear the repeated recordings. And guys, I'm not sure if we have that. We all want to just be quiet and listen carefully to that recording, which police, like you said, Phil, confirming now was coming from the RV. Let's roll it.
All buildings in this area must be evacuated now. All buildings in this area must be evacuated now. All buildings in this area must be evacuated now. If you can hear this message, evacuate now. If you can hear this message, evacuate now.
And then there is the aftermath. It's just absolutely chilling. It's like, it is like something you'd see out of a movie. And it's happened on Christmas Day in downtown Nashville. A very official sounding recording, Phil.
Good morning, good people. It's Miss Coconut. How are you? It's so early. My voice hasn't even changed over yet. I'm drinking my coffee, and I just had to come chat with y'all about this explosion that occurred in Nashville. So you just saw the recording, and did you hear the message that played just before? People are reporting that they heard gunshots and that they have been hearing gunshots in other locations as well. So stay tuned. I don't know what is developing here, but this is all very creepy, y'all. And it's sort of like 2020, what next? Interestingly enough, this explosion impacted users of AT&T. So we're going to get into that in a minute. But it just goes to show you, we think that we are so advanced technologically, but all it takes is something like this to occur for us to be cut off from each other with no way to get in touch with anyone. Because people have been slowly removing themselves from landlines. You don't even have a phone in the home anymore that isn't internet based. So I thought that was interesting. Okay, guys, so I'm big on decoding, but today I'm not going to decode because there is so much to unpack here. I'm not even sure where to begin because in order to decode properly, you have to look at all of the circumstances surrounding the event. You have to listen to the eyewitnesses' account, if any are available, which in this case, we do have a lady they interviewed that says she lost her home and business due to the explosion. She heard some gunshots. She heard the countdown, and she made her way out of the building to safety. There was another article that I read that said they saw human remains. I don't know what's going on, but what we do know that it happened on Christmas Day, so that's a clue. It was in Nashville. It affected AT&T. It was on 2nd Avenue. There was an RV parked outside that no one has been able yet to pinpoint who was driving it, who left it there. Obviously it's on a public street, so there are cameras about. There's no footage yet. So we cannot say for sure what the motive behind this was, who could have done this, and what gain would they have to do such a thing. Was this a diversionary tactic? Sometimes things are done to cover up other things, okay? It's like in the movies, when a explosion happens in one area because they're robbing a bank in another, okay? Was it done for political reasons? People feel like it could have been. It's a stance taken because of the election. Some people feel that it was a message being sent to the public and that there's more to come. Either way, that voice note counting down is definitely creep level on 10, right? So this explosion happened near the AT&T tower. So it affected the 911 dispatch calls. It affected, obviously, the internet. It affected the telephone service. A lot of people, weren't able to receive or place calls. And it did affect the FAA because they had to temporarily ground the flights because of telecommunications issues. So if this were an attack on a small scale, just to see how it would play out, I don't know. They definitely know now how the public would react and what would be affected by such a attack. Is this, domestic terrorism? We really just don't know, and we may never know. Is this just for insurance? I don't know. A lot of times these things happen because people owe lots and lots and lots of debt, and this is a way for a quick bailout by getting insurance money. The only thing I can kind of feel like I could say honestly is that this was definitely an intentional attack, because the time of day that it went off on, it wasn't set to go off on like the busiest part of the holiday. They did it at a time where most people would be away from the area or in their homes. So I don't feel like they were trying to necessarily like kill a lot of people with this message, okay, or this attack. Something else is going on with this situation. But I definitely don't feel it has anything to do with casualties, human casualties this time. So we have a unknown person, unidentified person, because obviously someone had to put the RV there and make sure everything was set up to detonate. We have now all of these buildings affected and shut off because they have to investigate and they have to figure out what possibly could be the motive behind this. So now the government is involved. So it's not just local and state police. So this is going to get curiouser and curiouser. Will we ever know the truth? Probably not, y'all. We will only know what they tell us, though, right? As with most cases, the beginning information that starts to trickle out is very confusing. So some people are reporting there was an explosion, but nothing's damaged. Other people are saying that there are some storefronts in this area that were damaged. Some people are saying it affected a AT&T store, but not a major AT&T tower or building. Some people say the building that's affected is an AT&T building owned by CNN or the government, or, here we go. So even though I do wear a tinfoil hat tiara, I honestly always say I really just don't know, okay? Because, you can look at it deeper. You can say, well, this occurred on 2nd and Commerce, so 2nd and Broadway, and break those numbers and names down. You could break down the name of the witness, and you can come up with hidden meanings and symbolism for it all. Either way, we are left with many, many questions, y'all, because, for example, who drove the RV? And the reports that human remains were found nearby, does that mean that the driver of the RV committed suicide? They're calling it an intentional attack, so they're letting us know it was not a foreign terrorist attack. So does that mean it was a domestic terrorist? See, this is what I'm saying. With this particular instance, I have more questions than I do have answers. It's also very early in the morning, so I haven't had time to process my thoughts on it. But I just wanted to talk about it before we lose the moment, because I notice with these type of things, as the day goes on and hours pass, the circumstances and the facts begin to change, okay? And you have to kind of read through the comments to see what people are talking about from the people that witness these things firsthand. When it's fresh in their minds and they're talking about it, they're going to be sharing things that later may be covered up. Actually, a video floating around that is trying to illustrate that this was actually some type of projectile that came in to the scenery, not exploding from that RV. And you have to remind yourself when the news, you know, they're fake anyway. So when they give us information, they definitely give us information that we are supposed to know. Okay? They don't give us information based on what may be reality. Even when they have eyewitnesses, this could be someone that's playing a part. Okay? It doesn't make it true. You remember, most of us are not in Nashville. We don't know what's going on. We don't know these people. Right? So it all could be a made-up story for one reason or another. So I don't know. I don't discount anything when it comes to these theories because I honestly can't prove them either way. What perked your ears up regarding this story? What is standing out to you? What comes to mind as soon as I gave you what I know to be the facts at this time? Let me know down in the comments. And that's my time for today. As always, Om Shrim Brezi.